It is my pleasure to participate in this special occasion celebrating the life of Richard Blum. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michelle Moskowitz. I have worked in government relations here at UC Berkeley for almost 25 years. And for a long time, I only knew Richard Blum from a distance. Richard distinguished himself as an accomplished alum, a booster, chairman of the UC Regents, and of course, the spouse of Senator Dianne Feinstein. At most, he and I shook hands at Cal-Stanford football games. My favorite description of Richard is that he didn't want anyone to know how big his heart was. Well, I actually got the opportunity to know. In 2012, I got to know Richard personally when I was invited by Shankar Sastry, when he was Dean of Engineering and Director of the Blum Center, to accompany he and Richard Blum to Israel, to serve as a cultural liaison and to explore collaboration opportunities with Hebrew University, where I had studied, and the Technion. It was there in Jerusalem when I first met Richard's daughter, Annette, who had a shared interest in this exploration. A Cal alum herself, Annette and I became fast friends. A year later, I was asked by then President UC Mark Yudof to accompany him and again Richard Blum to Israel to continue cultivating our relationships there and to organize a system-wide UC alumni event. Soon after, in 2014, Governor Brown's general counsel called me to seek my advice on a possible subnational memorandum of understanding between California and Israel. Having recently represented UC Berkeley in Israel, it was clear the two states shared significant interest and expertise in innovation on water conservation, clean tech, health tech, cybersecurity, and other areas. My advice to the governor's office was, let's do it. It should be all about applied research. Well, before long, I was invited to witness the 2014 signing of the cooperation agreement on applied research between the Israeli Prime Minister and Governor Brown at the Computer History Museum in Mountain View. There, the governor's staff facilitated introductions to those of us interested in implementing this agreement. One of those intros was between me and Glenn Yago, an economist and director of the Milken Institute's then Israel Center. Hearing about Glenn's background and ideas, I quickly was convinced that the Blum Center at UC Berkeley and Richard Blum's vision of the problems of inequality in global development was a perfect match with what Glenn envisioned as the Milken Innovation Center in Jerusalem. So I introduced Glenn to Richard and Annette, to Shankar, and to the Blum Center. They all, or I should say we all, shared the desire to extend the successes of both California and Israel to the developing world, and the goals of this new California state policy recommendation to partner with Israel. Since that time, others at UC Berkeley have been collaborating with Glenn on realizing a shared vision, from the Blum Center to Haas and the MDP program. In my role, it was natural to link this with the priorities of the California Legislative Jewish Caucus under the chairship of Cal alums Senator Ben Allen and Assemblyman Jesse Gabriel. More great connections. You can see how all roads lead to Berkeley. For the past 8 years, Richard Blum has supported the efforts to educate global fellows at the Milken Innovation Center in Jerusalem. And in 2019, he established the Blum Labs for Developing Economies in Jerusalem. In his style, wherever he saw a need, he sought to fill it. Last year, the program enrolled almost 120 students from 28 countries in a financial innovations course at UC Berkeley and Hebrew University. This year, following a 2021 report released by the Bay Area Council's Economic Institute, which delineated the economic ties between California and Israel, the Legislative Jewish Caucus is proposing public funding for the first time in the state budget to expand this work. Well, Richard Blum would be very pleased to hear this, and even happier if the budget proposal succeeds this year. Now, Richard was always very proud of his daughter Annette's involvement in this work, and he was especially pleased when she agreed to be active as co-chair of this program. On many occasions, Annette had joined her father in Jerusalem to meet fellows and talk firsthand about their projects and aspirations. Like her father, Annette sees the benefits and significance of making such a profound difference in people's lives. Annette continues to be committed and involved in this work. Whenever Richard talked about building a bridge to developing economies, he meant supplying the innovative financing, technology solutions, and people that can build investable projects. As a bridge builder, Richard gave us this opportunity. We are grateful that his daughter Annette is committed to his legacy in this regard. It is now left to those of us who share his passion, and I count myself among them, to complete the important tasks that he started. This is the Berkeley way. It is my pleasure now to introduce you to Richard's daughter, my friend and co-conspirator, Annette.
Well, hello everybody. I think it's all been said. Thank you so much for all of your really wonderful speeches about my dad. You really captured the essence of who he was, his sense of humor, his drive, his ambition, his impatience. I think, really all of it. As his daughter growing up with him, I was always pushed to do the best that I could possibly do in everything, and was taught to be a force for good in the world. And I intend to follow in his footsteps the best I can. To carry on his legacy. He trained me a lot. He brought me to every meeting, to every country, introduced me to world leaders from everywhere, and really, really groomed me to do this. Actually, Michelle brought up our Israel partnership this week at the Milken Global Conference. We had a wonderful session with Richard Sandler, who runs the Milken Family Foundation, who was extremely grateful for our support and our collaboration with them with this Israel program that Michelle talked about, which actually got very ramped up during COVID, because in the beginning we only had maybe 25 scholars coming, and they were all wonderful PhD students from amazing backgrounds, and they all, very interestingly enough, came to Israel not because they were Jewish or because they were interested in Zionism, but because they really wanted to learn Israeli technology and bring it home. And when my father met them, he was really impressed. He gave them his book, Accent of Geography, autographed it, but said, we really need to ramp up this program. There needs to be more of these students, and we were trying to figure out a way because it was a complex program with internships. And then COVID happened, and strangely enough, the silver lining of COVID was that we were able to engage these students, as Michelle mentioned, from all of these different countries because they couldn't travel. And so they signed on to his courses, and now we have something like 28 to 30 countries involved. And so, it's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to going back there and working with them. And I'm also going on the board of the Blum Center, so I'm going to be in Berkeley a lot, and look forward to collaborating with everyone. Shankar has been a wonderful director. Dan Fletcher will be fantastic. Everybody says the best things about him. And so I'm looking forward to working with everyone. Thank you.